Actually, 21, 22, my golly, placed on something that had a top waist. At 90, Shirley MacLaine is eventually spilling the family dirt. The famous person simply revealed why she and Warren Beatty didn't communicate for years. She referred to as him the beautiful one, but at the back of closed doorways they were combating over Daddy's consuming problem, UFO sightings, and Hollywood jealousy. She admits she absolutely underestimated him and now confesses what really killed their dating. The surprising reality, approximately Hollywood's maximum well-known siblings, is messier than all people imagined. Shirley MacLaine turned into, born on April 24, 1934 in Richmond, Virginia. Her family was middle elegance. However, they had massive pursuits. Her father, Ira Owens Beatty, labored as a psychology professor, school administrator, and realtor. He even performed tune as an interest. Her mom, Kathleen Corin Beatty, turned into a drama instructor from Nova Scotia. She had a dreamy persona and a deep love for the humanities. She named her daughter after Shirley Temple, already imagining a vivid future for her. Shirley grew up in a house where discipline and creativity clashed. Her father became strict and often distant. Her mother recommended inventive expression but wasn't usually emotionally present. Their expectancies were excessive, which pushed Shirley to be impartial from an early age. In 1937, her more youthful brother Warren became born. He might later turn out to be a well-known actor and director. Their relationship was both competitive and supportive, shaping them in distinctive methods as they pursued their careers. Shirley often said she had an orphan psychology. Her mother and father had been busy with their personal lives, so she had to discern matters out on her own. By the time she was 11, she began riding buses and road cars by myself to get to high school and ballet elegance. These solo journeys gave her time to reflect on consideration on life in a manner that most children did not. The global became inside the center of World War II, and cash became tight. The Owen family wasn't terrible, but times were tough. Shirley felt the burden of those struggles and knew she desired greater for herself. Instead of feeling sorry for her situation, she used it as motivation to dream bigger. Her love for appearing began when she became just 2 and 1.5. Her mom signed her up for ballet to help give a boost to her weak ankles. What started as an easy health repair became something much bigger, her getaway. It gave her shape, area, and a way to express herself. By the time she turned into 16, she turned into appearing. With the Washington School of Ballet, she labored difficult, pushing herself to the limit. During one performance of Cinderella, she broke her ankle right before happening stage because the fairy godmother. Instead of quitting, she wrapped her ribbons tighter and danced through the ache. That second showed her dedication and mindset that would define her profession. Even though Shirley became targeted on her personal goals, she became also a fierce protector. Particularly whilst it came to Warren, she took care of him and defended him whilst he were given into problem. They spent a number of time together, going to the films and dreaming about the destiny. As they got older, they took distinctive paths in Hollywood, but their bond never dwindled, even in 2017 when Warren changed into caught within the well-known Oscar mix-up and by chance announced the wrong Best Image winner. Shirley felt for him. She knew how difficult that second ought to were. Shirley MacLaine knew what she wanted from a younger age. She attended Washington Lee High School in Arlington, Virginia, but college in no way felt like her actual calling. Instead of ready to graduate, she took a bounce of religion. She dropped out and moved to New York City to chase a career on Broadway. It'd become a bold circulate for someone so younger. However, she wasn't afraid of the uncertainty. At 18, she landed a spot inside the refrain of Me and Juliet, 1953-54, a musical by way of Rodgers and Hammerstein. It became her first flavor of Broadway, but she desired more. In 1954, she had become the understudy for Carol Haney within the Pajama Game. Knowing this may be her big hazard, she cut her hair brief, to appearance greater like Haney. If the position ever unfolded, she wanted to be equipped. That second got here earlier than expected. Just days after the display's foremost, Haney broke her ankle in the course of a Wednesday matinee. MacLaine turned in to call to step in. With little time to prepare, she took the level and gave a performance that caught each person's interest. Money become tight for the duration of this time. She frequently ate at automatats, in which meals fee only some cents. However, she did not let that forestall her. She kept appearing, and by way of June 1954, Haney had recovered. MacLaine could have long gone again to being an understudy, but something amazing befell. Producer Hal B. Wallace had visible her on level. He changed into impressed. Without hesitation, he signed her to a 5-year agreement with Paramount Pictures. Just like that, her Broadway days had been in the back of her. Her discovery was a mixture of expertise and luck. One of the humans within the audience that night became comic Jerry Lewis. He was so impressed that he informed Wallace to look at her perform. Wallace took his advice, and after seeing her live, he knew she turned into a celebrity. He first of all presented her $200 consistent with week, an awesome sum for a newcomer, but her agent negotiated it as much as $600. In a depend of weeks, she had gone from an understudy on Broadway to a growing superstar in Hollywood. Her movie debut got here in The Trouble with Harry, 1955, a darkish comedy directed with the aid of Alfred Hitchcock. At just 20 years antique, she starred along John Forsythe and Edmund Gwynn. The film failed to make a massive effect at the Container Office, but MacLaine's performance stood out. Critics praised her appeal, and she received a Golden Globe for New Star of the Year. Before getting into Hollywood, she made a small but important trade. She became born Shirley MacLaine. Beatty, however, any other actress named Shirley. Beatty was already registered with the Actors Equity Association. To avoid confusion, she decided to apply her mom's maiden call, becoming Shirley MacLaine. It became a fitting choice. Her mother, Kathleen Corrine Beatty, were a drama teacher who loved poetry and theater. Her younger brother, Henry Warren Beatty, later did the identical factor when he entered Hollywood. He became Warren Beatty. MacLaine had demonstrated herself as more than just a growing star. That year, she earned her first Academy Award nomination for Some Came Running. The film, directed with the aid of Vincent Minnelli, starred Frank Sinatra as Dave Hirsch, afflicted Army veteran, and Dean Martin as his gambler pal, Bama Dillard. MacLaine performed Ginny Moorhead, a kind-hearted but naive female who falls in love with Dave. Her performance was unforgettable. Ginny was a woman who loved deeply, even when it positioned her in threat. She turned into inclined, but by no means weak. Her tale ended in tragedy whilst she sacrificed herself to shop Dave all through the movie's climactic scene. Critics praised MacLaine for bringing depth to the role, turning what might have been a one-dimensional man or woman into someone actual. The film obtained several Academy Award nominations, along with Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor for Arthur Kennedy. But it became MacLaine's performance that left the strongest impact. Over the years, MacLaine became known for making formidable alternatives. One of the most surprising came in the late 1970s, while she became down the position of Princess Leia in Star Wars 1977 to catch the famous Lando, while a legendary actor went to Carrie Fisher, who made the function legendary. While a few actors might have regretted passing on one of these big franchises, MacLaine never did. It may look like an ordinary decision. Star Wars became one of the largest movies of all time. However, MacLaine had always chosen roles that challenged her. She wasn't interested by technology fiction. She changed into interested in complex characters with emotional intensity. Star Wars wasn't the proper in-shape for her, and she or he had no regrets. Approximately walking away. In 1960, she starred in The Apartment, a film that had become certainly one of the biggest hits of the year. She performed Frank Kubelik, a kind but troubled elevator operator stuck in a complex romance. The film gained 5 Academy Awards, along with Best Picture, and became the 8th maximum grossing film of the year. MacLaine's overall performance stood out. She delivered humor and heartbreak to the function, making her character feel real and relatable. Her work earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. one in every of 10 nominations the movie obtained. 3 years later, she took on any other bold role in Irma la Douce, 1963, playing a Parisian prostitute who falls in love with a naive policeman.